Greetings, my beloved clients and friends. So I had mentioned that I wanted to, it's been a year since we set up the RIA, so I just wanted to restate the vision and the purpose of the company. It hasn't changed, but I just wanted to share it once again. So this is our purpose: unlocking the mysteries of investing and making a difference in your retirement. And the reason those are the two driving forces behind our company is that I've been in this business 30 years. I started in 1991 when I graduated, and his first job out of college was financial planner. That's what I've been doing for 30 years. And I've sat across the table from thousands of couples, individuals, business owners, and been managing their finances and helping them get to a comfortable retirement. And in that time, two things I think have really jumped out at me and that really influenced the direction that I wanted my company to go. And one is that investing is a mystery to many people, most. It's not something that we're taught in school, really, even me. I was taught economics, but the investing stuff I had to really, to a large degree, learn later. And it's not instinctive. It doesn't come natural. Actually, what's the opposite of good investing comes natural. There's a natural tendency to people get excited when things go up and want to buy more, and get fearful when things go down and want to sell. And really, that's the opposite of what you should do as a good investor. So, and people don't really understand what does the stock market do? How does it work? Why? There's so many questions and so few answers. So it's really a mystery, right? People are not comfortable with it, so it's something they kind of want to avoid. I don't feel like I'm good with money, or that type of thing, or I don't understand it, or I feel unprepared to have the conversations that we're supposed to have. Is what I hear from clients. So number one, it's a mystery, and number two, the industry, the investment community that I'm a part of, I don't think really goes out of their way to unlock the mystery. And I think partly it's self-serving, in that if they could keep it a mystery, they could do really quite well for themselves. And so making a difference in their own retirement seems to be a higher priority than making a difference in other people's retirement. So those were the two things that kind of jumped out at me. One was the mystery, and two, that the investment community wasn't really trying to help the client solve that mystery, or to really try to get them to a better retirement. There's this phrase in the industry called YTB, yield to broker, and a lot of investment recommendations, that's the underlying theme to them. It's an investment recommendation because it's a good yield to the broker, and that didn't sit well with me. So when I set up my RIA, and even before that, Platinum Wealth Management, that was our guiding light: unlock the mysteries of investing and make a difference in people's retirement. So when I say a difference, how big a difference could you really make if we're all in the same market? And, well, here's the difference. So this is where it really jumped out at me. $100,000 invested over 25 years. What would it grow to? And the answer is it depends on what kind of returns you got. At 4%, it would grow to about $265,000. Okay, at 8%, it grew to about $680,000. At 12%, it would grow to $1.7 million. At 16%, it grew to about $4 million. At 20%, it grew to about 9 million. And at 24%, it grew to about 19 million. That's the same amount of money over the same period of time in the same market. Someone could end up with 264,000 and the other one 19 million, depending on how they ended up investing the money. That was it. It wasn't that one person put more, or that one person started sooner, or that one person had a bigger income, or that one person had more discipline and didn't pull it out. The only difference between those outcomes was what they put the money in. And I'll tell you, over 90% of people are in a 4% type investment or an 8% type investment. And 90% of advisors recommend those types of investments. What is a 4% type investment? Probably some type of annuity or a bond or CD. And they're actually lower than that right now, but over time, that's what they've been average. Something that was sold by someone that probably they talked about fear and about risk, and what you want to do is avoid the risk and stick in something safe that's going to get you, even if it's 4%, but it's safe. Well, at the end of 25 years, it gives you a very modest, barely making it retirement. What about 8%? 8% is a diversified 60-40 portfolio following modern portfolio theory. Probably an advisor that's really well educated and read a lot and follows what academia says they should do. And really, the sophisticated end of the industry is really looking to get clients about an 8% return. And by clients, we mean some of the biggest clients like CalPERS and STIRS and universities, and they're really, that's what they're looking to get, about 8%, and being extremely diversified and really focusing on trying to minimize risk again. But there are investors, that's about 90%. There are investors that have averaged about 12%, and usually those are the investors that really didn't listen to a financial advisor, and they went for the low cost method and said, well, I'm just going to buy an index, because you could buy an index for free, whether it's the S&P and NASDAQ, and just hold it for 25 years and not pay anybody. And that method will probably get you better than 90% of professionally managed money, and close to the 12% range over a long period of time. Okay, so that's where over 90% of the market is. But there are a few that are able to earn the 16, 20, and the 24. And by doing that over time, it's the difference between retiring with 600, 800, or 200,000, 800,000, 1.7 million, or retiring with 4 million, 9 million, 19 million, right? That's a huge difference. And that's what I'm talking about, is making a difference in retirement. By unlocking the mysteries of investing, getting my clients into that higher range of returns, 16, 20, 24% range. And I believe that is where I can make the most impact in a client's life and the most difference in their retirement. So what is the mystery? What is the secret? And I think Benjamin Graham said it best. He said, in the short run, the stock market is a voting mechanism, and in the long run, it's a weighing mechanism. And what he meant by that is that in the short term, the stock market is very volatile, goes up and down and up and down, and it's blown around by the whim of fear and greed and current events and the news. The headlines, they move the markets, and often the swings are wild swings. What's going on in Asia and the White House and the Fed and interest rates and unemployment and current events and wars and stuff like that. They move the markets in the short run. It's a voting system. It's almost a popularity contest. Is fear winning or greed? And that's true. There's no denying that that's true. A true characteristic of the market. But in the long run, it's a weighing mechanism. And in the long run, it weighs the quality of a company. And a good company will increase in value over time, and a lower quality company not so much. So, but it's both at the same time. And you cannot separate the two characteristics of the market. It's like living with someone with two personalities, and most of the investment community is trying to minimize that short-term erratic nature of it, and that's why they only get 4 or 8%. What you have to do is really, I guess, accept the fact that it is a dual nature entity. How can I explain that? It's kind of like raising kids. You know, raising kids on a day-to-day basis is the toughest grind, man. It's hard, and it's frustrating, and it's tiring, and but over time, so many people say, I mean, it's the most meaningful part of my life, or the most important thing. I've been to several funerals recently, and at the end of the day, they say, he was a loving husband and father. It doesn't really say anything else about the person, because that was the essence of that person. So it's the hardest thing, and it's also the most wonderful thing. Kind of like a marriage too. You know, I mean, it's hard, and it's a tough grind, and on a day-to-day basis, it's tough. But over time, if you could stick with it, that's what the pictures are of every retirement planning brochure I've ever seen. Is this old smiling couple that are walking on a beach, or sailing, or sitting on a park bench, or riding bikes with the grandkids, right? They're different versions of basically the same picture of this old happy couple. And who are they? They're people that are enjoying a comfortable retirement, and they've unlocked the mystery of relationships. She figured out how to live with them for 50 years, and it was tough. She'll tell you, and he'll tell you the same thing. But at the end, it was the thing that gave their life the most meaning. And so they also, if they're sitting there on their yacht, they unlock the mystery of the stock market too. They realize, hey, it's a daily grind too, and some days are bad and some days are rough. But man, my 50-year relationship with the stock market has been wonderful. It's had ups and downs, but it's made the difference in my life, you know. And so they didn't fight the fact that it was a tough grind. They learned to live with it, and that's the mystery. Jesus tells a story in the Bible about this wheat farmer, and it said overnight the enemy came in and sowed tares among the wheat, like weeds. And the next day, or at some time later, the head gardener came to him and said, "Hey, the enemy sowed tares among the wheat, and what should we do? Should we pull out the tares?" And he goes, "No, don't pull out the tares, because if you do, you'll pull out the wheat with it." So he said, just let them grow together, and at the harvest, when we sift it out, we'll separate it out. And that's like the stock market. You can't take out the tares. The tares are the bad days, right? And you just got to let them grow with the wheat. And if you try to take them out, what you're going to end up with 4% returns or 8% returns, because you're so focused on trying to get rid of these tares. And you just got to learn to let the tares grow with the wheat. And at the harvest time, you'll have an abundant harvest. So that's the mystery that we have to unlock. I'm trying to help you have a wonderful 50-year relationship with the stock market, right? But what you're going to need is a good counselor, because there's going to be some bad days and days that you want to call it quits. And that's when you come to me, or I come to you and talk you off the ledge and say, you know what? Keep your eye on the prize. It's going to be, you're going to end up on that yacht or on that beach or riding the bikes with the grandkids if you just put up with a few unpleasant days, right? Corrections. The market has its witchy days, and it's days when it's unpleasant to be around. Days that you want to throw in the towel, just like any other relationship. But if you could figure out how to go through those days and not spend all your time trying to avoid the bad days, because that's going to get you lower returns. But hey, just get through them. Accept that that's the nature. That's the dual nature of the market. That's the mystery that if I can unlock, I can make a difference in your retirement. So hopefully that explains what we're about, why we do these videos, and why we choose investments the way we do, and why there is volatility sometimes, and why on our quarterly reviews, what I tell my clients, I'm going to call you 4 times a year, and we're going to talk about how the accounts are doing, and 3 of those calls are going to be good and 1 of them's not, on average. That's just the way it is. But at the end of 10 or 20 or 50 years, right, you're going to be glad you stuck with it. And that's the mystery. So hopefully that gives you the vision of what our company's about, what we're trying to do, and why it's so important to have a good counselor if you're going to try to have a relationship with the stock market. All right, I hope you guys have a great day and a great weekend.